Hi everyone, so the gauntlet has been out for a few days now. It has been mostly negatively received, but I decided I'm gonna give it a fair try anyway, just see how it goes, see what I can do. I gotta say, so far I actually had a fairly decent time min-maxing the build and the route and pushing against all the other try-hard nerds like me, trying to get out rank 1 at the end of the week. So far it's actually, yeah, relatively enjoyable and it gives people like me something to do. Now, I do see that not many people are like me, and if I had a choice for a competitive system in a game, I would have definitely preferred something else, but that's a discussion for another day. For now, this is what we got, and hopefully there's going to be improvements, and hopefully there's going to be more stuff in the future and better stuff. But okay, now that being said, we do have a problem. This is also something that leads me to the bigger topic of this video, which is PTRs. So if you have paid attention to this clip running in the background here, you might have noticed something kind of funny. So let's just go back like a minute here, and you'll see that you can carry shrines into the gauntlet. So this is something that has popped up yesterday. There was a clip here from Rob. So apparently someone told him about this or so, and he tested it out. And then I also went in and, just like try to see like, well, what actually happens and, how bad is it? And well, you see here, I'm zoning into the gauntlet, and I have the artillery shrine active that I just clicked outdoors. Now, this doesn't really come as a surprise, I gotta say. I kind of saw this coming from a mile away, but I didn't actually go and specifically test this. But I did make my video about the consumables, for example, where I discussed that it's really bad that we can use them in the gauntlet for other reasons, mostly due to like the lack of materials and the grinding required of that kind of stuff, which right now might not be so noticeable because you're 6 weeks into the season and everyone has all the stuff they want, and it's just the first week of the gauntlet. But long term, I think that we're gonna feel this like lack of consumables for some people, and it's gonna feel kind of bad. And the bigger thing that this shows is that, well, they just don't cleanse any buffs when you enter. So you can potentially also have any kind of like party buffs that last for a long time and just enter there. Now, I don't really know of any examples in the game where you actually have like a long enough lasting buff where this will be feasible, but technically this is possible. And if there's ever going to be like maybe some unique items or legendaries or whatever, those could potentially be abused in a similar manner, where you just like get a buff before the run from the party member or something, and then you walk in there. And similar here, you can do the shrine thing and have a way easier start in those runs here. This has been in the game ever since it was released, basically. There was never any like reset of buffs when you enter, for example, Nightmare Dungeon or even the Abattoir of Zir, where well, we also had a lot of other crazy stuff happening with like item swaps, skill swaps, snapshotting of stuff. So at least most of that has been fixed as far as I can tell, but now we have still this stuff. Now, to put this into perspective, how much of an impact does it have? Not really all that much, I gotta say. So you can see this here. If you are as fast as you can be with a lot of shrine buff duration, maybe you're gonna have something like a 15 or 20-second shrine or so by the time you open this gate. So it only really speeds up like, kind of like the first round towards, the first boss that actually drops one of the good shrines, either the Blood Bishop on the right with the artillery shrine, or like the Fallen Shaman with the Channeling shrine on the left or something like that. So it does allow you to speed up the start of the run a little bit, and afterwards you kind of just cycle all the shrines all the time, and it doesn't really become such an issue anymore. But for those tryhards that really want to try and get a rank 1 spot and get those last 10 or 20k score, because this is probably the value of this exploit, well, they will have to use this now. So this is obviously a major problem and something that could have been fixed, and well, that also needs to be fixed very soon to kind of keep the integrity of the leaderboard. Well, by now we do have official leaderboards in the game, and bugs like this have to be addressed. Personally, I'm not really planning to use this. I just did like this little test here, so I wanted to see, for example, like how long does it actually take to find a shrine that I want. And it is actually a fairly long endeavor, even if you try to go to certain areas where there is a lot of shrines. So I actually tried this out, for example, using the Maxwell map tool here, where I just filtered 4 shrines, for example. So you can do this, and you can actually highlight them all and have the waypoints together. And you see, for example, there's like a lot of shrines here, there's a lot of shrines there. and I just TP'd here and like walked around a little bit and here, and well, it can take up to like 5 minutes or so to even get a single one. So in the case of this actually being like the meta, especially for the people at the very high end trying to get a rank 1 at the end of the week, it's gonna be extremely annoying. So I really hope that we're gonna see a hotfix for this basically as soon as possible. But I think also that, well, talking about the bigger topic here, the PTRs could have avoided that. Now, I'm not really sure why Blizzard is not really doing regular PTRs. Now, we do have the announcement of a PTR for Season 4 because it's such a huge revamp of like basically the entire game that it's kind of necessary, I guess, and they've at least realized that. And in case you don't know what a PTR is, by the way, this is called Public Test Realm. There was a thing like in Diablo 3 where every single season, like maybe a bit more than a month before the season starts, there's like a 2 weeks test realm where you can try the new patch, and that will also come for Season 4, where everyone who has the game on Battle.net PC can just download the PTR and play the new season early, basically. But of course, sometimes full of bugs and all kinds of other weird stuff going on. But it's a really good way of actually making sure that the quality of the season and the quality of the release is much higher, because we are able to catch those kind of bugs. And so far in Diablo 4's relatively short lifespan, we have seen countless bugs and exploits, like really game-breaking stuff that should have been addressed very, very soon or even before release, but they still made it into the game. And in some cases, they stayed in the game even for like, half a year or stuff like this, has been in the game ever since the start. And it doesn't really have to be this way, I think. So this is maybe like a bit of like a, an address to Blizzard as well, where I would maybe urge them to rethink their stance on PTRs in general, because it sounded like they only want to do a PTR for Season 4 and not really for future seasons after that. And I think that's a relatively bad idea. So just from like, the game's like health basically perspective, I think having PTRs is much, much better, even though, not many people might necessarily participate, and not everyone even can participate because they have this kind of like, group of, Battle.net PC players. But that's a large enough group to get enough people playing the new season or playing the new patch and, finding these kind of problems, and maybe also giving feedback for other things like the balance or, just the feel of the patch or whatever else could potentially impact the quality of the patch. So I think that worked out really well in Diablo 3. I think that WoW is also still doing that for many, many years already. There's always like test realms and beta phases and all that stuff. But in Diablo 4, we just don't really have any of this. So of course there were like the open betas pre-launch, and there was like a closed beta before that. But ultimately, for those seasons, we do notice like a lot of problems pretty much immediately every time they happen. So I think it would not be such a bad idea to actually basically do Diablo 3 style PTRs again. Now, does this ruin the season for me, or does this ruin the gauntlet for me? Well, personally, as I said, I'm not really planning to use this. But it does suck that now I have to expect that my competition is going to just do this, and they're gonna have an advantage over whatever else I'm trying to do. So obviously that is a bit of a bummer, and as I mentioned, we should need really fast fix for this. But ultimately for PTRs, I think this is something that we should have. This is something that the game needs, and I really would like to see more test phases, just even small tests. It could be like very short, just a few days. It could be not even like the entire patch necessarily, in case there's like a new season launch. Maybe Blizzard really wants to keep the season theme hidden and not actually have that on a test realm, but mostly just like, for example, test new mechanics, just test a new system like this or whatever. It would make a lot more sense, I think, to have more eyes and more people just trying out the stuff, breaking stuff in advance, so that it doesn't make it to the live servers. Either way, that's my 2 cents on this topic right now. So what you need to know is, well, Shrine exploit exists now, and we'll see what will happen with this. So hopefully it's gonna get fixed very soon. I'm gonna keep you guys updated. I'm still gonna plan to push the gauntlet as hard as I can. As you can see here, I've been grinding on my rogue actually lately, trying to get like a few items from the patch and min-maxing the setup a bit. because I did not really have everything available. So I've actually been investing quite some hours into this patch, like the last few days already, to try to get ready for, the big push basically for the gauntlet. And I don't really want to have that ruined by something like this. But in the grand scheme of things, I also have to say that, yeah, the gauntlet is, something to kind of keep us occupied for a little bit, but ultimately, I don't think I'm really gonna like try hard this like every single week or something. Maybe, I'm gonna make like one character in a season and just kind of like park it somewhere and log in for like an hour or two every week and just try out to get, a good rank or so. So this is kind of my long-term perspective here for the gauntlet. And ultimately, I don't really think that I'm gonna like be super active in this. So I guess that's what it is. For now, I have my sights set on the PTR, which is going to start quite soon for Season 4. Let's see how the PTR will go. Let's see if maybe Blizzard will do similar things in the future. Maybe it's gonna be like, wildly successful for them. Not just the season itself, but, the actual PTR, like environment and feedback and whatever else they can get from that. And let's hope that maybe they're gonna reconsider their stance. So that's it for this video here. I just want to get this out there as, well, a bit of a rant, a bit of feedback, a bit of just like the news, I guess. And let's see what will happen. So hope you liked this video, and I'll see you guys next time.